What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jason here with the Cowpart Bros. Coming to let you know that the official date has been set for the anniversary episode, and then it will be Thursday, April 21st, episode 53. So mark your calendars down, make sure you check it out. A lot of big things planned. And make sure you continue to get us some messages for the anniversary show. And again, get those to us by Thursday, April the 14th. That way we have time to get it into the actual show. And again, these are just messages to let us know what you thought about the first year of the Cowpart Bros, what you liked, what you didn't like, favorite segments, favorite moments, things like that. Send those to us at cowpartbros@gmail.com or go to cowpartbros.com, click the message link, or call us at 405-877-BROS, or hit the Cowpart Bros pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. You know what it is. Whichever way you want to, hit us up. But remember, when it comes to all things Cowpart Bros, make sure you like us, love us, share us, and follow us. Because if you like us, why wouldn't you?
Welcome back to Cowpart Bros. Jason and I are fresh off the first segment regarding the Russian and Ukraine conflict. In this second segment, we're going to be talking about a real trendsetter. And we're going to reference an article from Robert Silverman for the Daily Beast, how PK Subban is dragging hockey into the 21st century. The Black NHL star has been fighting for change, combating racism, and building bridges in North America's widest sport. PK Subban, the star New Jersey Devils defenseman, was standing behind a podium on the night of January 23rd. He was exhausted and profoundly dismayed. One day earlier, a player made a monkey gesture in the direction of Subban's younger brother Jordan during a minor league game. The player, Jacob Panetta, denied having done so, claiming he was trying to imitate a bodybuilder. Yeah, that tracks. Panetta has since been suspended for the remainder of the season and released by his ECHL team. And I quote, "Sheer disappointment. It's distasteful. There's no room in it for our game." Subban said, facing the assembled press, "I'm embarrassed because our game is better than this." Now, for those that may not be aware about PK Subban, hockey star, he's been on a couple of NHL hockey video game covers. You got to be pretty successful to actually do that. They don't put bench warmers on that. So he's been in the league for over 13 years. And in the article, he talks about after scoring a game-sealing goal during the 2014 playoffs against Boston. Well, this will tell you how bad this is going to get. It was from Boston. Online trolls and bigots called him the N-word and other racial slurs. They called him a nigger. I feel like they're burying the lead here. Like, yeah, it happened. And yeah, Boston. One posted a picture with a noose drawn around his neck 2 years earlier when Joel Ward, another black player, similarly dusted the Bruins. Racist fans went to the same well. This is life for people who look like me who have gone through the game of hockey, Subban continued. And that's the part of history, whether we like it or not. One day prior to the incident with Jordan Subban, another hockey player in a different minor league had also taunted a black opponent by imitating a monkey. So Subban continues, "There's been times where I felt like I couldn't talk about certain things. And that sucks. Despite being a 3-time All-Star, netting a gold medal in the 2014 Olympics and winning the Norris Trophy, the award given to the league's top defenseman." And so he talks about, it took him 13 years to be this vocal about it. And so that was the part that really spoke to me in this article, because imagine if you're a black player and it's your first year in the league. And so this shit goes down. And listen, PK Subban is not the first successful black player in the National Hockey League. He is just one of the elder statesmen now. And much like we were kind of talking about Carl Nassib in the National Football League and feeling like, hey, there's no way in hell he felt comfortable coming out as a rookie. I do feel there are some parallels there with PK Subban and how vocal he's been in terms of, one, actually telling his story and living his truth, and all this fucked up shit that's happened to him over the course of the last 13 years happened to his siblings, for Christ's sake. So these are the pieces of his story that really stood out to me because there is definitely this cone of silence within some of these leagues where you're looked down on if you actually call out the fuckery that's happening in these sports leagues. And when you're talking about fans, these fans feel like they fucking own you anyway. So props to him for finally feeling comfortable enough to call it what it is. Jason, your thoughts?
So one thing that kind of stood out to me was just the title itself. PK Subban dragging hockey into the 21st century. And then right below that is the date of the article, which obviously is from 2022. So the 21st century started 22 years ago, Terrence. 22 years ago.
Right.
But yeah, he's now having to drag it into the 21st century 22 years later. So that's kind of what stood out to me. Just that message there is like, that's not good, obviously. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. That's a great point. That yeah, you are not the he obviously is not the first black person in the NHL hockey league. In general, percentage wise, one of the few. It's like okay, coming in, like you say, he's been in the league 13 years. I didn't realize he'd been there that long. But go back 13 years. What's that? 2009. And even when he came in, the 21st century had already been 19 years past it. So, but yeah, but coming in 2009, you probably one of not the percentage wise, not very many. So, you, as a rookie in general, you may not feel that comfortable standing up and speaking out about anything, let alone stuff about like this. So now that you have gotten that semblance of I proved myself here. Not only have I been here for 13 years, you just mentioned all of his compliments when it comes to being this much of an all-star, being a top defenseman, being on the cover of these video game covers and things like that. So he's proven himself. He's at this point, I'd say he's the biggest black star in the NHL. Now, again, not a hockey fan, so I could be wrong. If I am, somebody correct me. But still, he has that name recognition. People know who he is, even outside of hockey. People know who he is. So now he's the one that has to stand up for this stuff because he is that face. It's kind of like people, well, for lack of a better description, he's kind of LeBron James when it comes to this. Now, obviously, LeBron's the biggest star in the sport in basketball, but still, PK is still, as far as the black, issues, PK is going to be the biggest face and name for hockey when it comes to this stuff. So he's speaking out against it as he should, especially when an incident like what happened to his brother happened in a hockey league that's not even the NHL, in the minors. Um, so I found a lot of stuff interesting that he's going through this now. It's 22 years into this new century, and it also kind of made me wonder is, well, one, if you make it to any pro league, like especially one of the major four, NHL, NBA, whatever, obviously you're pretty good, right? So you would think that level of respect would be there no matter what, because you just made it to the NHL. It wouldn't have to be proving yourself because you're black. It's like, I'm already made it to the NHL. What more do you need me to do? Like I was saying the other day, though.
This is never about there's the skill set because the skill set there, dog. Remember Chris Rock's bit about uh, black people taking over every sport. Then he says, "Wait until we get LeBron on some skates."
Well, that is
Like,
here.
yeah, the issue isn't that these players weren't talented. Obviously, they're talented. They're there. The issue is that these whack ass fans don't have anything else to go off of, and so they'll go to the trunk of trying to strip black men of their humanity. I think got shit to do with skill set. This is about I can go to this trunk anytime I want with reckless abandon because I'm untouchable.
Well, that's part of it too. But I agree. That's actually
Or at
an
least
excellent
they've been
point.
untouchable for quite some time. I mean, yeah, one player was suspended. Great. But I'm talking about your average fan. Your average fan is not getting escorted out of these damn arenas.
Maybe
You
in
might be in
Philadelphia.
you might be in a situation where, you got center ice, or we'll take out the NHL version. We'll say NBA center court. There's a whole bunch of shit you ain't gonna be able to say because you're just too close to the athlete. And plus, they got microphones fucking everywhere anyway. I'm talking about somebody at the 200, 300 level.
Facts. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you mentioned in the article mentioned that you brought up as well, and I don't want to put this just on Boston fans, so we know this goes beyond Boston specifically when it comes to this stuff type of stuff. But yeah, there is a just like we talk about any other issue, there is that comfortability and that wall of protection because I'm on my computer, so I can say what I want, and no one's gonna try to chin check me, and I'm fine. Yeah, not to say this doesn't happen in any arena at all, but even if it does, it takes somebody calling it out and say, "Hey, get this dude out of the arena because he's being a piece of crap." But the best you can do on social media is basically block somebody or whatever. So, um, so many people know this, but back in my younger professional days, I had a couple of stints of working at a local ice arena. And at this ice arena, they played youth hockey leagues, games, high school games, as well as college and whatnot. And I believe this was during my first stint, which happened back around 2000, 2001, that time frame. And and this is in Southern Illinois, and the high school teams that come play are not just from Southern Illinois, some might come over from Missouri as well. I remember one of the teams from Missouri, I'm pretty sure it was Hazelwood Central. I remember the team coming into the building, and one of the players just happened to be, and I get back in 2000, I'm like, okay, cool, awesome, I see what you're doing. I see you. So whenever Hazelwood Central would come play, I always wanted to make sure I check out this dude's game, just kind of see what he's got, see if he's good, check him out. But also, I wanted to see if I could see how other players, his teammates, fans, maybe treated him ideally or adversely treated him. Like, okay, are am I going to hear like any ridiculous chants or any yelling come out of the stands? Am I going to catch any one of his teammates, or hopefully not his teammates, but either one of the opposing players, maybe checking him a little extra hard or digging his shoulder into him or saying anything verbally to him? Unfortunately, I will say that I never witnessed or heard any of that, thankfully. Now, of course, the possibility is that I just didn't hear it. But the fact that I was even looking for that stuff back in 2000, 2001, knowing that it was an issue, which at that point, that's still in the 21st century at that point as well. But the fact that I was even looking for that stuff and knowingly aware of this back when I was 20, 21 years old, that kind of tells you that that concern was there because, well, one, me and this other dude were basically the only two black people in the whole building. That's one. The fact of the matter is, obviously, not that I was concerned for my safety or anything, or concerned for anything else for me, but just knowing that we're obviously in the building here, to where, and this is probably where some fans probably think that way. The fact of the matter is, we're entering into the sport, which is considered a white sport, right? Which is what it is. Obviously, most of the people that play hockey are white, so that is what it is. So automatically, knowing that this is something different being introduced, knowing that some people are gonna, not that they're not gonna like it, like you said earlier, they're gonna take that as a way to kind of strip this person down, of making him less important than the other players because of something skin color, which doesn't make a damn difference. Even if he was the best player on that team, people might even use that as more of a reason to try to strip that away because I have nothing to say about him on the ice because he's one of the best. But I can't still call him a nigger. That's going to make me feel better. Not me as in Jason, but me, the person saying that stuff. So, um, yeah, it's unfortunate that obviously at the professional level, i.e., professional keyword level, after being in the league for 13 years, he's still dealing with that or still hearing about that. But I guess ignorance didn't have a professional level to it. So
Yeah. I I'll just close out the segment by saying, hey, I think it's wild that you gotta that you gotta that you basically gotta be certified and then get the support. You know, I'm starting to see, and and I and especially with all the protests, um, George Floyd killing. Um, I know it's not going to be easy for a league that is promoting itself to a more conservative model client, if you will, with the National Hockey League, which is ironic, of course, because why even assume that the NHL? I mean, it's not the fucking woke Olympics, right? But why sell yourself short? If you know you have an issue with some of your fans, be honest, talk about it, have clear dialogue about what's acceptable in your arenas, fan conduct.
Before we close out, one thing I do want to bring up that PK mentioned is that how many of these issues. So I mentioned my experience with the local ice arena. One thing he mentioned was how many youth players, high school players, or even college players went through the same issue while they're playing in their youth, and that discouraged them from playing hockey because of it. And that makes sense. I mean, I did want to mention this too. Willie O'Ree broke the NHL color barrier back in 1957. And one thing that's interesting about that is it was 17 years later. It wasn't until 17 years later when the second black person entered. So there was that big gap between the first and second. And, you know, no, Jackie Robinson, there wasn't that huge gap. I think it might have been either the same year or the next year we had the second one in baseball. But that's a good point. It's like how many black kids, whether it be Canada, U.S., wherever, wanted to play hockey, but they were discouraged because of incidents and acts like this. It's like, well, I'm not going to play hockey. Why? When I can go ahead and play basketball or football or something else. That's not hockey. So,
Right.
So I didn't want to close it out, but I have to bring that up.
Yeah, I think that was an important detail. The barrier to entry, racism aside, hockey is expensive as hell.
Bro, tell me about it. I can tell you about this. A lot of friends who played hockey, between the stick, because you break a lot of them all the time, you're going to grow up your skates, you're going to break those, have to get new ones, uniforms, ice time, travel expenses, yes, skate sharpenings, pucks, pads, because you're going to grow out of them. So yeah, hockey. Yeah, other than maybe equestrian, I say hockey is probably the most expensive sport that I can think of.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of gatekeeping, financial, racial, or otherwise. But rest assured, LeBron is already on skates. I will say that much. All right. That concludes our segment on PK Subban dragging the National Hockey League, kicking and screaming into the 21st century. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about one of our favorite states, Florida. Coming up next on Cal Park Bros.